Today is going to be all about how we budget and how we use a mostly cash spending system without using the cash envelopes. So if any of you are familiar with Dave Ramsey or budgeting videos in general, most of them are about a zero-based budget and cash envelope system. We adore Dave Ramsey. I've read so many of his articles and his books and looked into his podcasts. And a lot of how we budget is taken from what works for my family from Dave's system. So you have to do what works for your family. That being said, if you're in a ton of debt, you have a lot of consumer debt, you can't pay your bills, Dave's your guy. Get to know him and his system because he rocks at getting people out of debt that want to be. I will show you on paper how we budget. This system is not perfect. I'm not even going to pretend to know a thing about personal finance. I can't even say we're great at budgeting. We just know what works for our family, what is keeping us away from credit cards and helping us to live the way that we want. So let's take a look at how we budget on paper. Now I'm going to show you on paper how we lay it all out for the month. If you hear some Clone Wars music in the background, I apologize. So I just take a sheet of to-do list paper basically and write the month at the top, and then we get paid twice a month. So I divide it into pay 1 and pay 2. And I use an above the line and a below the line system. So everything above the line is an expense that must be paid. These are all of our regular, like month-to-month bills, our house, our car, our electric, internet, Hulu, Netflix, our car gas, our tithe, and our spending saving. We also have a spending emergency. I'm gonna fill out column 2 to kind of show you, and I will show you what that looks like. But we start with the first pay. Here I will show what is coming in. You have to know what's coming in to know what's going out. And then all of our fixed bills. Then below the line would be all of our, what I would call unfixed bills. And this is what we get pull cash out for. So after we fill out all of these columns with, our house amount, our car amount, our electric, how much the electric bill was, the internet bill, how much we are estimating for gas for the car, how much we want to put in tithe, and how much we're wanting to put in savings that's for spending, which that does take care of any need for sinking funds. That is popular on the Dave Ramsey plan. It is too complicated and too overwhelming for me. So I have just went with a saving spending and saving emergency account. So below the line is what we pull cash out for. So I get a lump sum of cash. So say that may be $621, and I put it into these 3 accounts: grocery and household, spending, and my husband has an account for my son's dirt bike riding. Any moto parents out there know that dirt bikes are super expensive. We put a certain amount away each 2 weeks for his riding expenses. And this money, so this is where a lot of our cash envelopes would come in. And I'm going to flip the camera around here and kind of about the bottom half, the unfixed money. So we get that great big amount of money, and then I put it into those 3 categories. So instead of having an envelope for haircuts, and an envelope for clothing, and an envelope for school lunches, and an envelope for fun money, and an envelope for activities, I can't keep track of all of the envelopes. It was like, I have $4.13 in this envelope, $7.22 in this envelope, $3.82 with this envelope, and I was like, I want a coffee. It's $4.03. I have $3.82. So then I'm borrowing, and it's not that I wanted to not buy the coffee, or I go to get my son clothes and I have $52 in the clothing category, and we have $120 in the fun category, and we don't need to have fun, we need to buy clothes. So, you know, that kind of made me crazy. For some people, it works amazing, and if you are one of those people, you keep on going. But it did not work for me. So I literally have one envelope that says spend on it. I take my grocery money, 9 out of 10 times, I put it in my wallet, I go to the grocery store, I go once a week, I spend a lot of it, and then the rest is in my wallet because I am not that great. Like the cash envelope system, you have to carry all these envelopes, and I carried a diaper bag for many years, and I don't want to carry all that around. So I just keep it in my wallet, and then I have my spend category in the middle of my wallet, and then the other category goes off into my husband's account for my son's riding stuff. Easy peasy. So what do we do about sinking funds? We do not have sinking funds. We don't sink fund vacations. You saw how we are saving for vacations with the 52-week savings plan. And we also have 2 different types of savings. We have savings that is emergency and savings that is spending. And I just generally put money into a savings that is to be used for things like school clothes or car repairs or all of those things. I found it so overwhelming, you know, that $12.01 will go into the car fund and $13 goes into clothing and $4 for kids' activities. I was like, I'm just gonna put it in there, and as this stuff rolls around, I kind of have an idea. I wish I would have done a video when I set out our yearly spending, but I have an idea of like how much activities and yearbooks and all of that stuff. I give a general number to that those items, and I'm not going to, I want to stay within that spending saving. So like I said, if the cash envelope system, this isn't to knock it down. This is to help someone that's kind of overwhelmed too with the cash envelope system, to say you can still budget and not have to deal with it. If you can use it, bless you, because you are way better than I am. It didn't work for me. I'm easily overwhelmed, and that was not the system for us. So this is a little look into our budget. Comment below. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.